Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, on this video and in this episode of the podcast, we shall need three magical powers. We will need magical powers of a wizard. We will need magical powers of a seer. And also we will need magical powers of a fortune teller, something like that. Because Arsenal are linked with a mysterious player, a player who is a mystery. Arsenal are very close to getting that deal done. A winger that will be a replacement to Rafinha on the radar. However, Fabrizio Romano and a couple of other sources are saying the player is still a mystery. We'll dive into that. We'll try to make sense of the names that have been fronted this early morning, including Marco Asensio and Edon Zagrova. Now, there is also another very complicated story to run, but I will run it because it is very, very authentic. A very authentic Belgian journalist, Saka Tavoleri, has said Yuri Tillemans and Amadou Onana, both Belgian midfielders, are not a priority for Arsenal. There is another player in midfield that Arsenal view as a priority, but Yuri Tillemans and Amadou Onana are not priorities for the football club. We're going to be diving into all that. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 800 likes. Subscribe to the podcast. Let's get the podcast to 52,000 subscribers already. And in the comment section, let me know. If Yuri Tillemans is not our priority, who do you think it is? Could it be Serge Milinkovic-Savic? Because the journalist doesn't point out a name, but he says Yuri and Onana are not priorities for the club. Now, let's start off with the mystery signing. Yesterday, Fabrizio Romano, like I reported, very, very clearly on the Golazo podcast, confirmed that there is a player Arsenal are working to sign. Very, very close. Arsenal believe the player is a very good alternative to Rafinha, and they will get the deal done. Edu is cooking something, and he's been very, very secretive and very good at keeping his deals off the radar. However, Fabrizio Romano made himself very clear yesterday that he will not point to a particular player and he will not point to a particular name. So at the moment, as per the most reliable transfer source, Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal are working very, very hard and closely to complete a signing of a winger, but the name cannot be revealed at the moment. However, there are a couple of sources as well in the same industry confirming there that Arsenal are 100% true. Arsenal are working to sign a new winger, a player they see that fits into the same caliber as Rafinha. The name is being speculated. Many of the outlets out there are speculating a name, but I want to say this: there is no conclusive evidence. There is no authoritative point and standpoint that all the names I'm going to tell you about in this podcast are the winger. So the winger remains a mystery, but what is not a mystery is that Edu is working to complete the deal, and Arsenal have reached some very good stages on the deal. Now, yesterday we talked about Marco Asensio, and I told you a little bit about what the deal is believed to be about. So let's start off with Edon Zagrova today. In this morning, Arsenal have been linked with Edon Zagrova, a player that I think I've never heard of being linked with Arsenal, either unless I've not been following that closely. But I want to reassure you that I'm one of the people that really follow Arsenal news and Arsenal updates really, really closely. Now, this morning, Arsenal have been linked with Edon Zagrova from Lille Metropole, 21-year-old, winger, left-footed, another exciting prospect, another really, really exciting player. He's valued at around £11 million, and that is what Arsenal are believed to be tabling for Lille Metropole, with a couple of reports saying that Arsenal have already sent in their initial offer to Lille Metropole. However, according to other sources, Lille Metropole are 100% clear they do not intend to sell the player. They do not intend to sell Eden Zagrova, and they believe Eden Zagrova is going to be a key player in their in their incoming campaign. So if it is Eden Zagrova, 21 years of age, you will feel he fits into the profile of what Arsenal are trying to do. Young players, growing together, players that have the potential to develop into massive signings and massive players. So Zagrova, one of the names mentioned last campaign, did play with Little Metropole, had a very exciting campaign, but when it comes to that name, I'm just not convinced. Honestly, I'm just not convinced. It sounds like Arsenal, and it sounds like many publications have just thrown the name Eden Zagrova there just to make sure that they get a response from a more credible source like Fabrizio Romano or David Onstein to say, no, it is not Eden Zagrova. It is either Marco Asensio or someone else. But at the moment, Eden Zagrova, keep an eye on that one. Player linked with Arsenal, but there is no conclusive evidence. The second player is Marco Asensio, another player linked with Arsenal in the last 48 hours. And with Marco Asensio and Eden Zagrova, more publications try to indicate that Arsenal have made initial bids. Now, why I think this is not true, I don't think if Arsenal made a 40 million euro bid for Marco Asensio, while Madrid are looking for around 35 million pounds, so literally Arsenal could have made a bid on point, there is no reason to bid for Eden Zagrova again. So that is why I've debunked all these stories now, and I will categorize them as not true. Marco Asensio to Arsenal has always been a target, we understand, but if Arsenal made a bid in the region of 40 million euros, then there is no reason as to why Arsenal make another bid for Eden Zagrova. One. And I also think that Marco Asensio is very open to to moving to the Premier League and very open to joining a convincing project. So if Arsenal were 100% sure that they were going to sign Marco Asensio, they wouldn't be traveling and troubling Lille Metropole with Eden Zagrova. So at the moment, those are the two names that we have. We also have another name, but not very closely linked, and that is Gabriel Veron at Palmeiras. Arsenal interested in the 19-year-old, but it doesn't look like he fits into the profile of the player we are talking about. We're talking about a player who has played regular minutes in Europe for the last campaign. We are talking about a player who is going to be coming in to either directly start in our lineup, or who's going to provide that kind of very heavy competition to Gabriel Martinelli. So Marco Asensio, Eden Zagrova, both players, keep an eye on them, but at the moment we cannot say it is conclusive. We cannot say it is done for those two. Now the other player is Serge Gnabry, and with Fabrizio Romano yesterday on the Golazo podcast, he re-echoed his initial thoughts around the deal, and he said it doesn't look like Serge Gnabry is heading to Arsenal. Arsenal not interested at the moment, and is not one of the names being discussed at the club among their priorities. So Serge Gnabry out of the deal at the moment. Two names that we can say are in it: Eden Zagrova and Marco Asensio. However, do not be very surprised if we hear another name, if we get another name outside those three, and that could be the real name. We are still waiting for Fabrizio Romano to give us a more clearer view and a more clearer clue to his indication, because he has an indication, but at the moment he doesn't want to get it wrong, because Arsenal are mysteriously working underground on some of their deals. Now, enough of that. Enough of the mystery. If we have a wizard, if you are a truth seeker, if you have any magical powers, you can help us reveal the mystery. Otherwise, for me, I will leave it at that this morning. Now, there is some puzzling and complicated story that I want to react to, and that comes in from a Belgian journalist, Saka Tavalere. Now, according to Saka Tavalere, he says Arsenal's top target in midfield is not Yuri Tillemans or Amadou Onana. They're keeping quiet on their number one target. Leicester want 30 million, but Arsenal are yet to make any offers, according to Saka Tavalere. Now, I will give him a benefit of the doubt. Arsenal have not made any offers. That is true. Leicester want 30 million pounds. That is also true. Why I'm going to debunk his story and theory, at times as journalists, you want to have a breakthrough, and at times you might say something because either you don't have information about it, so you debunk it, or you feel it's better to contradict the standing point of view at the moment. So Saka Tavalere is saying that Arsenal are not looking at Yuri Tillemans as their priority. That is him going against Fabrizio Romano. That is him going against Ben Jacobs. That is him going against David Onstein. And that is him going against all the top sources that have reported Yuri Tillemans as a key priority midfield addition for Arsenal. Arsenal have already done a lot of work on this deal in the background since January. Arsenal have agreed personal terms with the player. Arsenal have completely sold the player on a move, and that is why he's patiently waiting for a bid from Arsenal. Now, why I'm going to trash this story? One or two reasons. One, if a player is not your priority, you do not convince them that you're going to sign them no matter the odds. And Yuri Tillemans is not a done player. Yuri Tillemans is not a reject. Yuri Tillemans is one of the best central midfielders in the Premier League. We did his analysis vis-a-vis head-to-head with Serge Milinkovic-Savic, and we found out that in many attributes and aspects of football, as a central midfielder, he's way better than Serge Milinkovic-Savic. A player at that level, a player that has been linked with a move to Man United, Real Madrid, Juve. You do not tell me that Arsenal have convinced him to keep waiting for them if they do not get their priority. He's not in that caliber. He's not in that bracket. He is a world-class player, and I do not think that Arsenal would get as... Probably, it could be Lucas Paqueta. It could be Serge Milinkovic-Savic, because the journalist doesn't say who, right? But Arsenal getting Yuri Tillemans, that is a blessing. That is an absolute blessing. So, to say that Yuri Tillemans is waiting on Arsenal, as Arsenal think whether they will get their top priority or Tillemans, that doesn't make any sense. And also, you do not agree personal terms. You do not get a lot of work in for a player that you do not view as a priority. You do not. The only reason as to why Arsenal have delayed to make an offer for Yuri Tillemans is they want the deal to drag on so that Leicester City will accept to let the player go later in the market at a reduced fee. That is the reason. Not because they don't view him as a priority. That is some kind of lazy journalism trying to compute these two scenarios. Arsenal are not bidding, therefore Yuri Tillemans is not a priority. I think most sources want to see Arsenal treat Yuri Tillemans' deal as we treated the Gabriel Jesus deal. But I will say this, the amount of competition on the Gabriel Jesus deal was immense. That deal was in the process of being hijacked even when we were about to sign the player. So it was never an easy deal. So Euro Tillemans for me, lads, is a priority. Nothing more, nothing less.